Consent is, so if you have consent, means that you have complete agreement and you're knowledgeable about what's going on.
When I hear the word, I think of sex. I think that's just naturally, especially being in high school and all that stuff, anything sexual in general, but it can even go outside of that.
Consent for me is like an absolute yes. It's either an absolute yes or an absolute no.
Consent to me looks like two people having a conversation and agreeing on the same thing. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with any adults in my life actually about what consent is. My entire opinion of it was completely shaped by what I've seen on the internet. No one ever sat down with me and talked to me about consent. I don't even know if my parents have ever said the word consent.
I would say that consent goes for a lot of different situations. Consent can be anything from like your teacher letting you leave class to like any intimate situations or just your parents giving you consent to go hang out with your friends. It's kind of like permission in a way.
Consent has changed for me as I've gotten older quite a bit, and it's shifted. Well, if I'm gonna let you touch me, that means I trust you. How much do I trust you enough to touch me? That's how I view it now.
I feel like we can give consent in a lot of different ways. It's not only yes or no, but sometimes it's body language, sometimes it's the words that you're using, sometimes it's just the way that you say things.
I think it's definitely important for teenagers to know about consent, but before it's a problem.
I was in a situation where I was on a date and I felt a lot of pressure to give consent to something that I didn't want to.
I'm a senior in high school. I've been in a relationship or two. I think it was something that I went out of my way and like talked about with friends too, about like what consent means before I was in a relationship, because that's really important.
I think it was just like getting an okay from somebody to do something. I don't know, I think of consent, I mostly think of like girls and like parties, because like you mostly see it related to girls, but it like goes both ways.
You need to consistently be checking for consent and giving consent. And it's not just you said yes one time to one person, therefore with that person forever, that means yes.
On a Friday game day, we try to get there as early as we can so we can get near the front of the student section. The cheerleaders get us really hyped up, so it's really fun. It's always so fun. I was near the end of the bleachers, and one of my friends came up to me, and we've been friends since I've moved into this school. He said he was hungry and wanted to go get food. I was like, yeah, right, I'm not missing this game. I want to be back to see the football players after the game. We'll just go get food and we'll come right back. Like, whatever you want, I'm buying. I'm like, well, I'm broke, so you can take me to go get food. That sounds great. I told one of my friends that I was leaving, and I told him who I was leaving with. We got to the car, and we were driving around, and he's like, all right, where do you want to go? We pulled in to a fast food place just through the drive-thru. So he gets the food out of the window and says, okay, you don't get this until you make out with me. I thought he was just kidding. I didn't really respond. Didn't want to give him any reaction to it. I was like, just give me my food. I said that, just give me my food. He started driving through some back roads and I told him I wanted to go back to the high school. He started talking more about how we should date, we should make out in high school because we've been meant to do it, so why not do it tonight while we're alone? I kept saying I wanted to go back to the high school. About a month and a half before this happened, I went to a class called The Meaning of Consent with my dad.
Let me share a specific example from my daughter. When
It talked about what you need to say to get your point across, and I think it was just in my subconscious that that's what I needed to do.
The boy was showing her affection without her consent. This was alarming to her and alarming to me.
I finally persuaded him to head back towards the school, and we went to a four-way stop, and I assumed we were just going to the high school, but he ended up turning the other way into this neighborhood that I'm not familiar with. He went and parked behind an elementary school in the middle of this neighborhood. That's when I started to get sick, a bit scared. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what to say or what to do. Where is this? Where are we right now? Why aren't we back at the high school? He didn't say anything because right when he parked the car is when he decided he was gonna do what he wanted to. I felt powerless. I needed help. I was on my seat to the point where I could be as far away from him as I could. He lunged at me, and then he grabbed me. I pushed him off and said no. He tried again. I avoided that one a little bit better, but I still didn't avoid it completely. It's weird how fast your mind works in those kinds of situations. I stated my boundaries, and I specifically said no, just because of that class.
And she had the voice to say no. She understood consent.
I pulled out my phone and told him that my sister was texting me, but I was actually texting one of the friends that I was at the football game with. My friend, instead of coming to get me, just decided he would get the number of the guy I was with, and he called him and told him, you need to take Paige home now. That's when it kind of clicked in this guy's head. So I got out of the car and I just went straight towards the back gate. I just felt like I needed to be in somewhere. So I just shut the gate and I just dropped on the ground and cried. I felt guilt. I felt that I had put myself in that situation, and I felt that I didn't do everything I could to get out of it. I was also really nervous to talk to my parents about it because I knew I needed to, but I really didn't want to.
We weren't home when she came home, and she called. Emily said, "We need to go. Paige has been assaulted." And so we raced home, not knowing what we would find when we got home. Just the unknown. It was that fear of the unknown. When I saw her, I gave her a hug and just wanted to try to let her know it would be okay.
I was glad to see she was physically, I should say, unharmed, like she wasn't, hadn't been beat up or, any of that sort, but she was visibly shaken and literally shaking. You can be threatened, and it's about right here, and then your child can be threatened, and it's a whole new level.
She did everything right, and I could tell immediately that she felt that she had done things wrong and that she was to blame. And I wanted her to know instantly that that wasn't the case, and that she did great things, and it was going to be okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why I decided that night that I was going to go over there and talk to his parents. He's a teenager now, and he's making smaller choices, but I don't know what he's going to grow up to be. It's important for me to help him. I'm hoping that his parents will have at least been able to chat with him and have those uncomfortable chats with him about the choices he's making and how he treats others, and women in particular.
It's been eye-opening because things just aren't stories you hear anymore. It's real.
My name is Paige, and this is my story. I'm using my voice to empower myself and to empower others my age.
Hello class, how is everyone today? Well, happy Monday to you too. Okay, I want everyone to get with a partner and discuss last night's homework. Mondays are just so hard for me, and this first period class is so quiet. Figured I just could sneak out of there and go take a quick nap or go get some Starbucks real quick. Can I help you?
Angel, we're partners.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. We were partners last time, so we're partners this time. That's how it works.
No, Dwayne, it's not. Last time we got into partners, I partnered up with Dwayne out of pity. I didn't know my kindness would get back at me like this. Just because he got my consent one time doesn't mean he gets it every time. It needs to be ongoing.
Are you trying out for the basketball team?
Thank you.
So I started dating this one.
Oh, please. Please.
Not getting straight up. You know what I mean?
You're so
It's Jeremiah.
And he's 17. Jeremiah. Teachers. I don't know. He goes to another school. It's not the same kid from the last time. He also went to another school.
Dwayne took Stan's pretzel while he was sleeping. He didn't even get his consent. He just took it because Stan could not say no.
I taught Stan a valuable lesson today. I am the top of the food chain.
Has Dwayne lost his mind? Because I will help him find it. My pretzel's sacred.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Dwayne, give me back my soccer ball! You don't know how many times Dwayne has done this to me. He can't understand the simple word no. When is it gonna click in his head that he can't just aggressively take things that are mine?
Playing too much soccer can cause broken ankles and other traumatic injuries. I was saving her life. She shouldn't be mad at me.
Welcome, Dwayne. How nice of you to join us.
I just got back from PE. We were running a little late, so I ran here.
Right. Well, where's your paper?
So haven't printed it yet.
Why didn't you print it at lunch?
Alas, that is the dreaded question. I was held up, so I was just wondering if I could print it here.
Yeah, well, since you asked so nicely, go for it, but only use black ink.
Got it.
Yes, Dwayne?
Can you come here? Do you know the policy on printing pictures? Could I print this one?
I'm gonna still say no to it being in color. Use grayscale.
All right then.
Considering his past behavior, I'm pleasantly surprised that he asked. I did give consent to him using the printer, but colored ink is just so expensive. I'm living on a teacher's salary here.
I might tell you later.
I think I learned an important lesson today. Consent is very important. Consent is just as important as Bears, Beats, and Battlestar Galactica. At the start of the day, I was hopeless and I had no clue how consent worked. But when I respected others' boundaries, I felt like a new person. Maybe we all learned something today. I know I did.